The other day I had a chance to visit one of Rivian's owner events where they were showcasing the entire Rivian lineup. That means the two new R1s as well as the prototype R2, R3, and R3X. Now we have had a chance to spend time with both the R1s and the R2. We'll leave those video links down in the description below. But it's our first time getting hands-on with the R3 and the R3X, so let's dive on into it. Now I'm going to jump behind the camera here and show you exactly what we're looking at, although unfortunately it is under a tent, so lighting may not be ideal. This, however, is the R3, which is going to be built on a similar platform that will find the R2, and will likely share a lot of components, but this is definitely going to be smaller. We're looking at about a 5-inch shorter wheelbase and, well, a shorter vehicle all around. That's going to be length, width, height, and this is meant to be more of your around town city car. And if there is a current comparison, nothing's coming exactly to mind because it's more like a slightly inflated, maybe sedan than it is an SUV, although that pretty accurately describes the crossover segment at this point in time. However, the styling is very much going to be a throwback to something like the Group B Rally Audis, and this is definitely something that I can get on board with. What it also does is gives us more storage capacity, because instead of having things very closed and tight, this is going to be a little bit boxier, a little bit taller. And even though it's not a perfect box like we'll find over in the R2, it's still going to give you a lot more storage capacity than most modern sedans. And that's why the crossover is so popular these days, and why there are so many electric crossovers popping up. Now, when it comes to trick tailgates and everything you would want on the back end of a vehicle, this R3 should have it. We have a opening rear glass. That way you can go ahead and grab, well, anything that you have stored in the trunk that might have been rolling around that you would definitely like to stay in the vehicle until you're ready to go ahead and grab it. But when we close that glass, we also have a regular opening hatch. And a hatch is obviously the most convenient way to get to and from your items. But here in the trunk, there is tons of space, especially considering how large the vehicle is not. So this is going to be fairly standard as far as a regular cargo area, but because it's a hatchback, it's a little bit more vertical. We also have a little storage cubby down below, which is likely going to be just open enough, and maybe this can go ahead and drop maybe another level down, or if you need the absolute most storage capacity, I'm sure that folks who like adventure equipment will go ahead and find a solution that's, well, a little bit more one-off or custom to whatever your storage item needs may be. Now, one thing that's going to make this a little bit different than your average crossover is that this is going to be a little bit taller, standing a little bit further from the ground, which is very much in line with Rivian's adventure ethos. But that is going to mean that you get likely a little less efficiency, but again, someone who's looking for something that can go farther off the beaten path is pretty familiar with that. Honestly, something Subaru's been doing for quite a while. Now, while we've got doors open, let's go ahead and hop inside, and we'll hop in the back here just so we can see a little bit more clearly what's going on in the front. But what it is very similar to what we find in the rest of the Rivian lineup. So we have a smaller display screen there for the driver and a larger infotainment screen here in the middle. Definitely more of a horizontal layout than either a square or a vertical, so to each their own. But overall, most of the controls are going to be there on that screen. What we do have differently here in this steering wheel is that these scroll wheels are not just simple scroll wheels. They're essentially adding another dimension to what any other manufacturer is doing. We can scroll up and down, that's the easy one. We can also click left or right or down, or even, so if this is down, we can even go behind it and click back towards us as an option to select. And all of that's going to be based on whatever menu you're in here in that infotainment screen. Now, these are not up and running with the latest software because this is very much still a prototype. The R3 is not scheduled to release until after the R2, which is still going to be at least a year away. Now, just because the R3 is going to be smaller than the R2, which is smaller than the R1, does not mean that this is a small vehicle. And there really is quite a bit of room, and it's also a very open space. So even if it is smaller than maybe what you have right now, or smaller than the other two, it shouldn't feel too imposing or claustrophobic inducing. Now, as a point of reference here in the driver's seat, which I really haven't had a chance to adjust, sitting as vertical as I can, I've still got probably 2 or 3 inches of headroom. And then again, just because the ceiling is glass, it doesn't really feel like it's too imposing. And you can see behind, there's a lot of room in a pretty small package. Back at the rear seat, you can see that there is a pretty good view, although it's not quite stadium seating like we would find in the R1. There is also, well, enough space for me. Now, this seat in front of me is not set all the way back, but it is quite a ways, and I do still have an inch or so of legroom, One thing we are going to find that is to be expected with an EV is that this floor is a little bit higher, meaning that my knees are not quite resting on this seat. So over a long journey, it'd be slightly less comfortable, but again, there is still plenty of room. I also have options for charging. So here in the back, again, at least on this prototype model, we have two USB-C chargers, and it looks like some buttons likely there for outboard heated seating, but we'll have to wait for further information to see not only what is going to be built in standard, but what some of the packaging looks like for this vehicle and, well, some of the other trims. And let's take a look at the one other trim that we know about, at least at this point. Now this is also an R3, but this one is the R3X, and Rex for short. But what's going to make this stand out from the rest of the R3 lineup is that this is truly the dedicated performance model. But the performance model is meant to be more of an all-terrain performance model than a strictly street 0 to 60 stoplight to stoplight machine. And one of the things that gives that away is going to be, at least here on these tires on the prototype, well, these are a lot more aggressive for off-road or trail driving than we would find in a dedicated track car. The wheels here are also going to be reminiscent of something more like a rally car, and I absolutely love it. But let me know down in the comment section below, is this sort of a wheel design that you're on board with, or would you like to see something maybe a little bit more conventional? Now, Rivian has done some playing around with colors, and in the past, the quad motor design was in bright yellow. Here, on this R3X, which is going to be a tri-motor variant of the R3 line, is going to be in a brighter orange, which not only pops, but is a different color, not only than their original yellow for the quad motor model, but the new designation color for quad motor, which is blue. The yellow has moved to the tri-motor, which this could have used, but I really like this splash of orange that we're going to find throughout the vehicle. Just like we find it here in the wheel, down in some of the logos, and especially through parts of the interior. But as far as the rest of the exterior, it is expectedly going to look a lot like the R3X. Because this car hasn't come out, I appreciate they're not doing things too drastic with it and then pulling back later. We could see that happening, but all of this looks relatively easy to go into production. One of the biggest changes is going to be here on the roof, where this gets a more aggressive spoiler to go along with some of that higher ride height, those different tires, the different wheel package, and obviously the higher performance motors. Here in the interior, we find that orange running all the way across the dashboard. We find it here in the steering wheel, which is a slightly different design, more of a flat bottom and flat top. Instead of a red band there in the center, we have that orange. And we also have the exterior color worked in here, sort of this dark teal color, which definitely attractive. Also paired with not only a different color interior than we find on that regular R3, this is more of a yellowish tan, but also a different seat design. Not only do we find the orange splashed in here just enough, we also find a much more industrial look than the standard model. That design carries here through the back, but we also see some accessories that may be available when this comes to market. Something here for the back seats to add a little more practicality to it, either just some straps or what I imagine is a paired with the interior color option there for sort of a storage bag. Now, how does this compare to the R2? Well, let's go ahead and take a look, because we do happen to have, besides a rapidly filling tent, an R2 over here to look at. And one of the first things you'll notice is that this R2 is way boxier, and that's going to be front to rear. And that's the whole point, because we are really maximizing storage capacity, cargo area, visibility, and this is going to ride just a little bit taller because it's meant to be able to do just a little bit more. The other one, the R3, really is a city car turned adventure machine, where this is an adventure machine that is definitely capable of driving around the city. And one of the things folks will like more than in the R1 is the fact that this is easier to go ahead and park, because this does come in, I mean, to the eye, it's about 10 or 15% smaller. Obviously, the measurements will probably not come out exactly to those numbers, but we get all of the spirit of Rivian here in a smaller package. And the best news here is that all of these Rivians are getting less expensive. So the R2 here said to start at $45,000 when it is made available in 2026. Now that $45,000 certainly could change, but that's going to be a really good starting point to compete with something like, well, the Model Y. And I do suspect it will get a very different audience between the Model Y and the Rivian, but a lot of folks have gone from one to the other, really as the entry point in the specifically electric midsize crossover world. And really these two are leading to very different charges. If the R2 starts at about $45,000, well, the R3 is said to come in even less than that. And it really is going to be dependent on one of the two powertrains they say available, battery packs, and 3 powertrains, either a single motor, a dual motor, or over there on the R3X, the tri-motor. So you can really build it just about any way you want to or any way you need to. And this way you don't have to get the biggest Rivian, the very expensive Rivian, to get a Rivian experience, to be able to have some of that capability for more adventures, if not strictly living off the grid, because this may not be built quite for that. But your bikes, your surfboards, your camping trip, all can be powered by Rivian, and in the next couple years, I expect we'll see a lot more because these price points are so competitive. Now, we will find R2s and R3s, especially that R3X, coming in probably a couple tens of thousands of dollars higher than that initial starting point. But the good news is the less expensive, more accessible, and nearly just as capable Rivians are very much on their way. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick look at the R2, R3, R3X, and this is the first time I've gotten to see those R3s in person. If you have any other thoughts, questions, or comments, concerns about these vehicles, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you're going to order one of these today, it pops up in the garage tomorrow, which is it you're placing the order on, and what vehicle is it replacing? Thanks so much, and we'll see you down the road.